Welcome to another Sept by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing dire of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the grave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warm forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. Rock will never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network, where we play St. Petersburg by Night, a massive multiplayer 5th edition World of Darkness chronicle set in the city of St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Kent, also known as Misha Kent on all social media, and I am the lead storyteller of St. Pete by Night, and it's Tuesday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Rage Across Tampa, our 5th edition World of Darkness chronicle set in the city of Tampa Bay, Florida, right across the bay from St. Petersburg, Florida, where a pack of Garou have returned to establish a Sept of the new nation, much different from the old Garou nation, which has shattered into a bunch of fractured, disgusting, terrible infighting pieces, which are, not doing so well in recent years. But this new nation have begun to establish something great, something wonderful, but something that, of course, has its own problems as it is trying to figure out and find a way to rebuild, to fight back against the worm. But of course, the worm, it comes in many shapes and sizes, and one of those shapes and sizes is literally sprouting and growing from the ground as evil emanates from Piney Point, Florida, in the form of plants, strange new plants that have been coming in the form of seeds and fertilizer that are being distributed from a factory, from this strange hidden organization, a small offshoot of Pentex that has decided a new strategy to spread their dastardly deeds. And this Sept, the Sept of the Evening Star, has been trying to fight back for some time against this organization. And they have been finding it a little bit more difficult than they had first thought. If any of this sounds interesting to you, then you should go follow us on all of that social media you see listed down below. And if it's even more interesting than that, you should come join our amazing community by following that Discord link you see listed down below, because we would love, love, love to have you come join our amazing community and come chat with us about tonight's episode or about any World of Darkness content or just about anything in general, because, you know, there's so many amazing things to talk about and so many less than amazing things to talk about in our crazy, crazy world that spins round and round and round. So come talk about us and come talk about it all with us in our community. So come follow that link and come chat with us. Anyway, I couldn't tell this story alone. It would take some pretty incredible people to tell that story with me. So let's introduce those people now. Players, say hello and introduce yourselves, if you please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Champagne, Bing Pot. It's catching on. Whatever you want to call me. And I will be playing Aspen Wise, Philodox of the Silverfangs.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nori, and I'll be playing Malicious Jester, the Galliard of the Black Furies.
Hi everybody, I'm Walks, and I will be playing Lucas Shaw, Ragabash of the Shadow Lords, and you'll find no Shane Garou in this pack.
Hey everybody, I'm Preston. I play Jason, Dreams and Decay, Thorn, Theurge of the Bonar.
Bangpot is indeed catching on. Yes, it is. So, as we said, the pack has been, the Sept, in fact, has been trying to combat this ever-growing threat, but they can't forget the threats of the past, as we found out last week, as Jester and Charles went to investigate the apartment complex that they had previously discovered as you had been investigating the high-quality builders sites several weeks ago. The place where you had found these plants had been growing, where they had been, you know, using the fertilizer. You went to look into these locations where you believed they had been planting some of these plants. You found these bushes that had been lined with silver. So you went to follow up on this location, and Jester and Charles went to, you know, follow up on some information that the other pack, the Hell Hounds, had discovered. And in doing so, you found that the apartment complex had developed even further. It had become a secured, gated community. But while surveying the surroundings, you found that a past enemy of yours had also taken up residence there. Edward Bateman, the new Ventru Prince of Tampa, could be seen living, or at least taking residence or doing business within the apartment complex. And in tow, he had Mia, a past friend and associate of Jester's, alongside him. Now, this almost sent Jester into a rage, who wanted to chase down Bateman and deal with the problem then and there, but upon Charles's warning, decided not to. Now, they followed Bateman and Mia, who had an armed escort that took them to the Tampa airport, which was merely less than a mile away, where they went to a private hangar, and Charles and Jester decided not to follow. Meanwhile, Jace and Lucas decided to look more into the staff that had been left behind by Jace's friend Moses. Now, they discovered that there were a bunch of strange symbols on the staff, but Lucas was able to determine that one of those symbols seemed to be a key of some kind, while one of them was a ward that seemed to block access to whoever was holding the staff, something that seemed to prevent anyone from being able to scry or look into the wielder of the staff. The other one seemed to grant some kind of access or give access to the one who held the staff to something. But what it was couldn't be determined. So Jace went to meet with Artie. He already had some business with the Glasswalker and hoping to get permits for his business and his bar, some liquor licenses, some food licenses for his up and coming business. And because he didn't, necessarily have the time and patience to go through the legal channels, they decided to go through some back channels to make it happen. And the talented Glasswalker had some quicker means to do so. But Jace asked him to do a little research of his own. And in doing so, they discovered that the staff had some secrets. It had a story. And one of those stories seemed to be of an Irish folktale of a demon known as Balor. Now, before they could delve any deeper into the story of Balor or any of the other stories that the staff contained, Jace heard a sound in the kitchen. And when he went to investigate, he found the man known as Moses in the trash dumpster outside. Except what was most strange was that this individual didn't seem to recognize him, and in fact had no recollection of ever meeting him. Strange indeed. Now, of course, he welcomed the man in, he fed him, and tried to learn anything he could about the situation, but got no answers. And instead got more questions, which might not be unusual for Moses, but was even more unusual in these circumstances. Lucas went to check on Louise, and with Eliza believed they had a solution to her affliction. They treated her with a mixture of cold iron that had been melted down into a liquid solution, and it seemed to do the trick in a very violent manner, purging the infection from her system. But it also revealed that there might be another individual involved in this plot, for in Luisa's final convulsions, in her final throes of the infection, a glowing green eye and red eye seemed to possess her, saying, "You can save this one, but you can't save them all." So there seems to be another chess piece on the board other than just Vanessa, a more powerful player behind the scenes yet to be revealed. And then Aspen went to meet with Anna Pelfrey, the Ghost Council Galliard, who has been her law partner, to talk about potentially hiring some help in the form of Delphine Ruinspeaker from the Hell Hounds, but also to inquire about potentially getting some cold iron from the Sept of Jupiter. Anna said she would reach out and see what help she could get, but she also cautioned that bringing on someone like Delphine meant also bringing on the liabilities that came with bringing on someone like Delphine, bringing on the risks of someone like Delphine. But she said she would do what she could and that she was always at the service of the Sept whenever she could be. And then she and Jester, Aspen and Jester, met to reconnect. Jester talking about how Juniper was her sister, which she learned from Artie in that very meeting, as well as learning that she had discovered Bateman was taking up residence at the apartments. And now we start our story tonight with a phone call as Aspen attempts to reach out to the Hell Hounds' original Sept in Hell, Michigan, and to the Sept leader known as Red. Aspen. After talking to Matthias, you had learned that he had made several attempts to contact the individual known as Red. Red being a Black Fury Arun, the Sept leader of the Sept up in Hell. Apparently, Red had been very short in his communications with Matthias, and that he had not really been very communicative since sending down the Hell Hounds. In fact, he had not been very helpful at all and had not really inquired with Matthias since. So, in an attempt to establish communication, in an attempt to find out any information, and potentially to try and get some help with this plant problem, and maybe to even get some answers as to the ill training behind the Hellhounds, you asked Matthias for the phone number for Red and for the Sept up in Hell, and you attempt to reach out. What's going through your mind as you prepare to make this phone call?
Mostly trying her best to not offend in any way, because she doesn't want to start on a bad foot, but also knowing the Hellhounds, there is a lot of questions behind that. But to a bigger perspective, needing to reach out as Sept leader to other Septs and make those connections and have connections more than what Artie has already started facilitating.
Okay. So as you look at the text message you received from Matthias with the phone number, you eventually tap on the phone number and it brings it up on your contact. You dial the phone. It rings a few times before it picks up. Hell Saloon, this is Red.
Hello, Red. This is Aspen Weiss from Tampa.
Aspen Weiss from Tampa. Hang on a second. You hear the noise. You hear the noise of a crowded bar in the background as the phone is set down, and then after a moment, it sounds like it's put on hold. After several minutes, it's picked up. Aspen Weiss. I was wondering when I was going to get this phone call.
Figured it was about time.
Past time, if you ask me. How are my kids?
They're doing great. They're adjusting well.
Glad to hear it. What can I do for you, Aspen?
Well, I wanted to officially reach out from my side and properly have a conversation with you, especially since we have similar struggles in a lot of ways.
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily having any struggles, but sure. What are you struggling
Well,
with?
I would say at least enough connections with your pups being down here, being transferred here, and the mutual plant situation.
Right. My pups assisting there, as they were asked to be reinforcements, asked to help. That's what Matthias asked for, isn't it? Help?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And seeing as how they were, well, sent to us quite abruptly and with their own issues attached to it, I figured they'll be here indefinitely.
Well, beggars can't be choosers, Aspen, and I can only afford to give what I can afford to give.
Absolutely. And I 100% appreciate the help sent our way. And they've adjusted well and they're learning a lot here. And I think they'll be great assets, as well as them finding their own roots here and thriving.
And Stakes is keeping an eye on them, helping out as well. We miss her, as well as we miss all of them, of course.
Stakes is doing great down here, helping us with the situations at hand, making sure she has an eye on the rest of them. And she's been quite helpful since she's been down here.
Glad to hear it. Listen, forgive me. I know I'm coming off a little bit bristly. I haven't had dealings with the nation proper in a while. And I know you guys are starting something new. I heard the whole sales pitch from Matthias, and I know you're his protege. So let's start over fresh. Hi, I'm Red. Black Fury. I came into this all piss and vinegar. That's not usually my style. But my bad.
Well, nice to speak to you, Red. Aspen Oathbreaker. Violet
Oh.
Silverfang.
All right, now you're winning me over. That's a whole story for a different time, though, and I'm sure we can get a nice conversation in about that. But they're young, and if I could have had more time, I'm sure they would have been better prepared, and I apologize for that. I sent what I could, and I sent the best possible one to train them with them that I could. I want you to know that it wasn't meant as an offense, first off. It wasn't. They needed what you could provide, and I couldn't provide it here. So I want you to know that I wasn't trying to cause a problem. I was trying to give what I could, because Matthias talked a good game, but I was skeptical. And I appreciate you calling, and I appreciate your honesty so far, but I'm also still skeptical. You have to know that. But I'm going to give you, yes.
I first off very much appreciate what you have done for us. Not a lot of other parts of the nation have done the same for us. So I absolutely appreciate everything you've done. And although they aren't formally educated, they're quick learners and they are thriving here. They're doing well. And we appreciate any outreach to us. We appreciate it a lot. And I know, again, we have similar struggles. And I think if we can keep a line of communication open, we can understand each other better.
They're good kids. A couple of them are troublemakers. I know that much. And I believe they had potential. They have potential. But they were wearing out their welcome here. And they needed a stronger hand than I could provide. And they needed to see what the other side of the fence looked like. They needed to see the truth. And we didn't have that here. We've been out of the game too long, to be completely honest. And other places probably would have killed them by now. But what Matthias was preaching, maybe they would have survived. And truth be told, it was a test for you guys too, to see if you practiced what you preached. And from what I've heard so far, you do. So I gotta say, Miss Oathbreaker, I'm impressed. And if it's true, and it continues to be true, then you have my support. You're taking care of my kids, and that means a lot to me. Loyalty means a lot to me. Honesty means a lot to me. So, what can I do for you? You've kept my kids alive. You've trained them, it seems. So what can I do in turn for you?
Well, there is a potential solution to this plant situation that we both have. That being cold iron. Working out the logistics is something that's happening. But from my understanding, there's a mine pretty close to you guys that mines iron. And if there's any way we could work together and gain a supply of some sort, I'm willing to trade and help in any way I can for you there as well.
You hear the rustling of some papers on the other side, as if the phone's kind of being shifted onto his shoulder, and then you hear the tapping of some keys on a computer before there's a inhale. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're talking about here. It's a pretty big deal, pretty big job. That's not exactly easy pickings. You got to understand, we are as short-handed as you are. Thus why you didn't exactly get our best and brightest when we were looking to reinforce you. No offense.
They really are wonderful, and there's no need to apologize for them. They're doing the best they can. But to the point of the big project, what can I do to ease this? What can I do to help in any way so we can both work together to eradicate these plants?
You need iron. And I'm guessing you need it straight from the ground, it sounds like.
It's going to be really difficult to get something pure.
Yeah. I can try to take the mine. It's probably controlled, obviously, by, well, our not-so-friendly corporate overlords. But it's nothing we haven't tried to deal with before, so we can take a shot at it. I will need something in return, though.
Of course.
One of the reasons we had problems, one of the reasons that the kids had to get sent down instead of better reinforcements was 2 of them didn't quite gel with the leadership up here. And they didn't want to be separated. So we had to send them down as a group. The 2 of them that didn't quite gel, well, they were spouting some pretty insane theories about Fenris. Started accusing one of our elders about I don't know, cultish behavior. Started challenging one of our elders. That was a problem. And it's a problem that hasn't been necessarily properly dealt with. Now I need to know that that theory has been dealt with and dispersed. So, I will send you the iron. I'll get you the mine. But in exchange, I want Delphine.
For what exactly?
I want to know that she's changed her mind.
You want her up there or a phone call? What would you prefer?
Yeah, I wanna talk to her to see that she has reformed.
And if she hasn't?
Then maybe she needs more time, and maybe the iron needs to wait.
I understand where you're coming from. I do. But I don't understand as far as trade goes. I can't control what Delphine thinks or feels, nor would I want to. And as a pup, it shouldn't be such a large thing for all of you up there. She's already been shamed. She's already been sent away. I don't see why it would be I don't understand why it would be pushed further from that.
She poisoned us against each other. I want to make sure she's not poisoning you against us. Well, she tried.
I believe we're having a conversation now. If you were poisoned against us, there would be no phone call to begin with.
We're having a conversation because you need something, Aspen. You didn't have a conversation with us until now. How long have they been down there? And this is the first time you're calling?
I'm sure there's something more pressing that you would all need up there than Delphine to say that she lied. I know it would be difficult, but could I roll like an insight through the phone as like I'm trying to see why he's so pressed on this idea? It just doesn't make sense.
Sure, go ahead. Sure, go ahead and roll an insight. What's an insight?
3.
It's hard to tell exactly what his motivations are, especially without a physical presence, without facial, cues or anything, but there's something very direct in his voice, and from what you can tell, this isn't his desire. He is just merely a conduit of someone else's desire, as if he's received instructions.
Okay. Red, I apologize if I'm overstepping, but you are Sept leader there, correct?
Of course. But a Sept leader represents their Sept, don't they?
Of course they do. And it is also our responsibility to filter through what is actually necessary and helpful to Gaia.
Let's just say the offended party wasn't pleased with the decision that was made.
But it was the decision that was made, correct? You shamed them and exiled them. That was a decision that was made.
Yes.
And I don't discredit or disagree with your decision making. It was what needed to happen, but to harp on it is inefficient and ineffective for what we're trying to do here.
Fair enough. And I suppose if everything's well in hand, and you think that the situation is under control, then you'll have no need for stakes anymore, and you can send her home. She was there to make sure that they got settled in. She can return to her Sept.
If that's what she desires, that is absolutely what she can do. I don't hold anybody hostage. But if she is enjoying herself here and feels like she still has things to teach the pups, then I wouldn't send her away.
All right? Let Stakes know we'd like her to come home. I'll send your iron as soon as we acquire it.
I'll have a conversation with Stakes, absolutely. And if she chooses not to come home, are we still okay with the exchange, or do we need to renegotiate the terms?
I'd like to know what's needed to remove the problem, the infestation, or the whatever this cure is that you need this iron for. That'll be the exchange.
Okay. And whatever Stakes decide is not included in that, correct?
I'm not a dictator, Aspen. If she decides not to come, then that tells me everything I need to know.
Well, I just wanted to be sure because it was part of the negotiation to have Delphine come up there. So I wanted to make sure we're on the same page with our terms.
We're on the same page. You want the iron, I need to know what it's for.
Perfect. Once we get the eradication figured out, we will send things up there to help you all as well.
Sounds great.
Also, Red, I'm not your enemy. If this is too much of an ask, you absolutely don't need to do it. And I would still send you what you need to make sure you're safe up there.
I know you're not my enemy. I'm just worried that our enemy is in your midst.
My Sept is my responsibility. And when I say I'm not your enemy, my Sept is not your enemy. And that includes the ones that came here to help.
Of course.
Have a wonderful day, Red.
Good luck, Aspen. He hangs up the phone. What's going through your mind after the conversation with Red?
It was an interesting conversation because it started harsh and then went well and then went back to contentious in ways. It was difficult. It was almost like a power play on his side that was not expected. But if that's the way it works there, who is she to say? But also, she's not going to put anybody in her sept in a situation where they could be harmed or put in a precarious situation. And she does include that as the pups and stakes. That's her sept, and she's going to make sure they're taken care of.
Not everything may seem as peaceful and stable in hell as was advertised, but maybe it is as precarious as has been talked about by the pups. Maybe you're getting a little bit more insight into what was rumored by the young Garou that had come down from Michigan. It's clear why they were in the state they were in, or at least you're getting some insight as to why they were in the state they were in. We transition now to our next scene. Lucas. Our next scene begins in the woods as you and Stakes have gotten together with Larry, the young bartender from the biker club. You had learned that Larry was a kin after deciding to sense the true form upon one of your outings with Aspen at the biker bar after a meeting with Bruce in which you discovered that he was a Ghislaine. You decided to further project your senses outwards to see if anyone else at the bar had any particular special additions. And that's when you discovered that Larry was a kin, a Garou that had not yet experienced their first change. So after a conversation with Stakes, in which you had revealed that you were at one time a kinseeker, you have been ever since training to learn or relearn the rite of kinseeking, so that you could one day have that conversation with Larry, so that you could one day enact the rite of kinseeking once more. And now that day has arrived. And so after some planning and some encouraging, you invite Larry for a walk in the park, a walk in the woods. And with some apprehension, eventually Larry agrees. Stakes says she's going to meet you in the woods because she's not one for socializing to begin with, and she's definitely not going to be caught dead in a biker bar surrounded by people. That's way too many individuals in close quarters for her liking. So you head out to the woods, both you and Larry riding your motorcycles, eventually parking alongside the road before heading out on foot into the woods. Larry nervously asking, "So are we going hiking or something? You being Ranger Rick? What's this all about? Do we need to hide a dead body? Because this will be a first for me."
Think of it this would be a good place. That's neither here nor there. No. How have you been lately?
Fine. I mean,
You feeling?
busy at the bar, and I've been talking to somebody. They've been dropping by the bar every now and then. I don't know. There might be something there. It might be nothing, but we'll see.
Larry, you dog.
I don't know. It's interesting.
interesting is better than boring. So
All
hold on to
set.
that. You've been good though lately. Nothing weird.
I mean, weird is weird's always kind of a thing lately. Bruce has been acting a little bit different in the recent weeks, and I mean, the goings on around town have been odd. He's been telling me to keep an eye out for certain things and having the boys watch certain areas, asking them to leave notes for me and passing stuff back and forth. But I don't know, it's nice to see us being a little more active lately, but what's going on, Lucas?
All right. Two things are going to be really important in the next month or so. Okay? Two things. Maybe more months. Who knows? There's no timeline on this, so we'll get to that. But one, we're going to have some of the most uncomfortable conversations you've had up to date in your life, period. Some of the weirdest shit you've ever heard, you're going to have to listen to.
I've already had the sex talk, Lucas.
That's good, especially because you have a girlfriend. That's important. I'm glad you had that talk.
Whoa, no labels yet, all right? We've literally
okay.
just talked about books.
Okay. Books, huh? Okay, all right. I know some other people that like books. I'll have to... Anyway, two, this is the really weird one. You're going to have to get real comfortable randomly being naked, but we're going to move on to that one at a much later date. Just keep that in the back of your head, okay?
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna take this on blind faith right now, but this is really starting to feel like one of those creepy Uncle Christmas stories about to unfold. Like I'm just saying.
Yeah, out in the woods,
Yep.
getting weird.
Yeah,
stuff they,
yeah, like a
Lifetime movie
Thanksgiving
stuff.
that's about to go wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. So, all right. Weird stuff's going on in the club. Bruce is acting strange. I'm sure you've seen me running around with people that don't make any sense that I should associate with, right?
Yeah, Aspen, of course, Jester, but Jester belongs here. I mean, she's been with us for like a year now. I mean, I'm surprised she's not patched in yet, to be completely honest.
Jester's good people. And yeah, I mean, did you ever think about why somebody like Ryder would have attached so quickly to someone like Jester? Not that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that just seems like two very different people.
Well, I guess that was kind of always the deal with Ryder. We were always told you don't ask questions about Ryder's business.
That's fair.
That was rule number one after Ryder started hanging around. I mean, at least that's what I was told. And then when he became president, it was law at that point.
I never met him, but I did get to know him in a way. Okay. Man, it's been a while since I did this. All right, so nothing weird's going on. You haven't woken up any weird places?
No, I mean, sometimes after closing, I'll dip into the, stock a little bit, but I wake up at work still.
Okay.
Okay. As he's trying to find the words, go ahead and roll me a wits and awareness.
Bridge one.
Yeah.
Seven successes with a crit.
In the woods, a little further out, your ears just catch the sounds of leaves rustling ever so slightly. You would have missed it from the sounds of birds cawing and wings flapping and the breeze rustling through the trees, but something about your high alert senses right now catches as you hear the padding footfalls of wolf pacing out in the trees. And it can only mean one thing, and you immediately pick up the odor, the musky odor of steaks. That kind of mix of mud and dirt, and also a little bit of trash. Very distinct steak smell. You could tell she's in her lupine form, her lupus form, which is very, very unique to her. It's her comfortable form. She's very much paying attention to this situation, but she has chosen not to approach yet. She's probably about 100 or so yards away, but knowing her, she probably can hear every single word. I'm guessing, Larry says, this is the I finally need to know talk. Because it was always one of those, you'll know if you need to know. And I didn't need to know. I was a kid, and then I was a bartender and a prospect. And to be honest, I thought Bruce would be the one to tell me, but you and Bruce have gotten close. And even though you're wearing the prospect colors, you've never been really just a prospect. And that's fine. I get it. And I'm not jealous. I want you to know that. You're different. Just like the others are different. Did I do something wrong?
Do you feel different too, Larry? I mean, we're all like outsiders. That's why we ended up in this life, right? Do you feel a little bit more outside than the people at the club, than other people?
Don't we? Is it hard? I mean, it's hard to tell if you feel different, if you've always felt the way you've felt, isn't it?
That's fair. Do you get angry quick? And I'm not talking about like, oh, that asshole left me a $1 tip. I mean like really like a deep, deep anger at just things. The state of the world or a certain person.
I have always I guess I think that the things that have made me angriest is watching bad things happen to good people. Watching people get taken advantage of, watching people I don't know.
It's okay not to know. It makes sense that you don't know. And to be honest with you, man, your instincts are pretty spot on. This is that talk. There's something different about you. You're more like me and my friends than you are like everybody else. Although Bruce is close family in a sense, which is one of the reasons why me and him talk a lot. He knows. And I think where we're going right now, it's an important place you need to see because someday you're going to know everything.
I never believed that I was going to have a normal life. I never had a normal life. I mean, you grow up the kid of a biker. You don't really have a normal life to begin with.
Yeah.
But okay, what does he starts to pace a little bit. What is this, like, what does it mean though? Like, it doesn't, like, I mean, I just started finding some normalcy, and how do you have any normalcy if things are about to become different again or more different?
Yeah, that's the rub, isn't it? Normalcy is relative. And believe me, I'll tell you, Ben, I recently found out both my parents are gone. And my mom was a drug addict, and she's responsible for my dad being dead. And it's a whole thing. And I came to understand what you're going to learn at a very, very early age. And so that's normal for me. This world that he kind of looks down the path a little bit towards where the edge of the bond is. This world that's about another 300 yards down this path is a type of normal. It is. It doesn't mean who you are changes. It doesn't mean what you believe in changes. And it doesn't mean what you want to do changes. Aspen, right, you mentioned her. She's just recently passed the bar and became a lawyer. She always wanted to do that. It's what she wanted, but she also does this other thing. I'm not going to say it's a side gig because you're going to figure out it's not. But to some of us, it's a tool, a way that we can make that difference that you were just talking about, to help those people that can't help themselves. We can do that, and we can do it very well.
Okay. That makes sense. I have wanted to make a difference.
Good.
And I do want to help. I think that the thing I'm most worried about is my mom. Because without my dad, and I have no other family, no brothers or sisters or anyone else, it's just me. And with my dad gone.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be different and her to just be, you know, alone if I'm doing this now?
She doesn't have to be alone, man.
But is it like in the movies? Like you become this and then all you're doing is spending time with those people from now on, like in Lost Boys or in, I'm not going to say the terrible one, but you know.
Yeah, not that one. I mean, that's a fair question, because you will be doing a lot of things. Let's rewind this a little bit, and he'll take off one of the moonstone bracelets that he keeps on, and he'll reach over and slide it onto his wrist. That's just in case, because we're getting close. We'll go over that later. You're gonna be really lucky, and your mom's gonna be really lucky. And I know that's hard to see right now, and it was really, really hard for me to see for a long time. You're, if you choose, gonna get to stay as a member of the club and do things in the club that are gonna connect you with them, and you're gonna have that family. But here, you're gonna have another family, and us here, whether it's your mom or your third cousin or the guy that regularly door dashes for you for the last like 5 years, doesn't matter. If you ask us for help, we're gonna help you. So if your mom needs something, just like the club, we're gonna do what we can to help.
Do you change? Like who you are?
Who I am is a really complicated question right now. I'm kind of got this like existential crisis thing going on right now. It's complicated, but you'll change, but on your terms. I mean, you choose your own adventure here. I mean, there's certain things we have to do because it's safe. We have to bring you here, and we have to teach you how to do what you're going to do safely. And then you'll know we're here. And there's be certain rules you'll have to follow to protect you and your family and us. But if you just look at us and say, I got this, I just want to go be in the club and that's it, then that's it. We'll keep an eye on you. I'll be around because I'm pulling the double duty, because the club's important to us. You guys are all important to us, but it'd be nice to have somebody there as backup.
I mean, I'm not going to quit the club. That's how I honor Dad.
Yeah.
The club was his life, other than us, obviously, but like sometimes I think even more than us. And keeps him close still. So I'm not going to quit that no matter what. That was my family before whatever this is. No offense.
No, good. I'm actually really happy to hear you say that. Like I said, you get to change as much as you want to change. I'm not kidnapping you here today.
Anything, that's what I was worried most about this talk, was that I would lose that.
Oh, man. Nah. All right, man. So we're about to walk through a point. And you may feel something, you may not feel something. We're going to get into this. We're going to work you into it slowly. Just, everything that's about to happen is normal. And if nothing happens, it's also completely normal too.
Is there... What if... Is there a way to say no? Or back off? Or back out? Like, do I get to decide on this? Like, can I think about it? Like, it's a pretty big choice. Like,
to answer in short phrase, no. It's who you are. It's part of what you are from now on. And if you don't learn to control it, you can be dangerous.
You see him start to like his hands start to shake a little bit. You know, can I have a minute?
Yeah.
And he turns and walks the opposite direction a little bit. He paces back and forth. Starts looking up at the trees and then down at the ground. And then he starts running.
I'm going to give a whistle and take off after him.
Okay. Roll me a dexterity and athletics.
Three successes.
So as you're booking it through the trees, you, with your same wits and awareness, I'm going to let you keep that score because it was so high, can hear and see, flanking on the opposite side, the wolf, kind of weaving through the trees, bounding over fallen logs, kind of on the opposite side, still keeping her distance, equidistant on the opposite side, as Larry, surprisingly fast, is running through the trees as well, kind of down the path. You hear him yelling out, "It's not me. You've got the wrong one. I'm not ready for this," as he's running through the trees. With your 3 successes, you don't have enough to start gaining on him. You're still kind of the same distance away from him as he's running.
I'll yell out, "Look, we don't have to go in. It's fine. We'll just keep talking."
He gets to a point where he reaches the riverbank and he finds himself at sort of a dead end by the water. And he looks like he's about to try and jump into the river to keep running, but he stops at the river's edge and then turns around to face you. And he's got this slightly frightened, but also slightly manic look on his face. And he kind of holds out his hands almost defensively. And he says, "Wait, wait, wait."
I'll stop a good distance away from him. Put my hands up too.
Ryder died. I can't die. I can't leave her alone. Dad died and left us alone. Now, I'm all for helping, and I'm all for giving information, and I'm all for the club, but I can't die for this. Not now, not while she still needs me, not now. I'm all she has.
I get it, man. I get it. And believe me, I don't want that to happen. I don't.
You've got it wrong. I'm not the one for this. Pick somebody else. I'll keep your secret. I won't tell anyone, but it's not me.
How close was your dad and Ryder?
Pretty close. He died helping Ryder.
Yeah. Ryder is like me. He's recruiter is the worst word I could use. He's as a finder, a seeker. He smells things on people. And Larry, we don't get this wrong because we don't pick. Ryder probably sense the same thing we sense. It's just who you are. It's not a choice we make for you or offer you. It's going to happen. And if you don't learn, and I'm not saying you have to fight. I'm not saying you have to go the same route that Ryder went or that your dad went. But you have to learn the right way to live. If not for you, for your mom. And we don't have to do that today. And you don't have to start doing things today. But it's important that you know that that's just life for you right now. Sucks. I know. All the rest of us went through the same thing. We were born into it. We didn't get to pick it. And some people still don't want it. And some people love it. Like me. I love the shit because I live for it, but that's not everybody. And I get it.
How long do I have?
There's no way of knowing. You're at the right spot for it to happen. And you're going to feel it start to happen. Things are going to get rough around the edges for you. You're going to lose your temper a little bit more. And you're going to feel your body start to not do things you want it to do. When that starts happening, that's when things could go bad. And we need to work this out before that happens. Teach you the right way to do it.
He reaches up and runs his hand through his hair. Can I have some time? Can I just be alone for a little bit?
Yeah. I'll be back at the bikes, man.
Thanks.
Yeah. If you can't find your way back, just yell. I'll hear you.
I'll be fine. Thanks.
I'll turn around and head back toward the bikes.
As you are walking towards the bikes, eventually you hear those padding footfalls come up beside you, and those footfalls are replaced by footsteps. As you see the shaggy-haired young woman kind of fall into line next to you. This is going to be a rough one.
Yeah, this one's got history, and I'm not great at this. I'm not good with people. This is a bad idea.
She gives you a deadpan stare. Good with people doesn't come with the job. We're going to need to keep an eye on him. He's going to try to run from it. Again.
Yeah. Yeah. He keeps that bracelet on. We'll be able to find him.
Were you paying attention when we did the right?
Yeah.
We should do it before he goes too far.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
She kind of ticks her head, gesturing for you to follow as she veers from the path and leads you through the trees until you reach a log that's fallen. And as she gets to the log, she ducks down beneath it, and you can see that there's a dugout hole beneath the log. She starts digging with her hands beneath and reaches underneath and pulls out an old plastic bag, probably like a shopping bag, and it looks like it comes from a 7-Eleven, and it's been bundled up several times. And as she pulls it out, she unwraps it and kind of dumps it out onto the ground. And you can see there's a bunch of old dried up herbs, a box of matches, and an old coffee can. She sets the coffee can down in front of you, starts stuffing the herbs into the coffee can, and then hands you the box of matches. And then looks to you.
He'll take the matches in the can and he'll sit down on the log and take the matches and light them and then drop it into the can, kind of shaking it around to make sure it gets the collection of herbs. And as it starts to smoke up, he'll take off the other moonstone bracelet he has and he'll circle it around it several times, at the same time wafting the herbs into his face as he does the rite of kinseeking.
Right. So, the rite of kinseeking requires a wisdom and investigation roll. Now, as you have stakes assisting, you can take an additional rage dice on the roll.
We are too far outside the cairn, so no bonus.
Actually, I will say you are in the bawn of the cairn because she did lead you off the trail, so she did lead you into the bawn of the cairn, so you can get the additional die.
Oh, good. 4 successes.
Okay, with the 4 successes, as the smoke, which is very, very potent, enters into your senses, it almost stings your eyes, causing your eyes to like water and clench. The smell dulls out the odor of even Stakes, who has a very potent odor of, stale booze and dirt and musk. Even that goes away as it's replaced by this very heady herbal smell. And as you take in the herbal odor, almost burning your nostrils and burning your lungs, it's replaced by another smell. A smell of leather and a smell of rubber and maybe vodka or possibly cleaning solution. And as you follow that scent, it leads back in the direction of the river. And you can tell that you've picked up the scent of Larry. Stakes also breathes in the smoke, and her head looks in the direction, and as she follows your gaze, she nods her head, realizing that you've picked up the scent as well. Then her head kind of ticks a little bit and then raises, but then she just shakes her head for a moment.
You good?
There might be something else, but it's a lot farther away. Not something to look into now. It's very faint, but something you and I might do after this is done.
Another one for the cause.
If we get to them first.
Yeah.
Let's give him time. He's not ripe yet, but he's getting there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a good position, luckily, to keep an eye on him, so.
Assuming he doesn't go far.
Yep.
I'm gonna head off. Chasing makes me hungry. But
All right.
let me know if you need anything.
Hey, thanks.
She dumps out the can of the burning herbs, stomping out the remaining ashes and embers before putting the supplies back in the bag and stuffing it under the log, covering it with dirt again. She then gives you a very awkward kind of pat on the shoulder with several thumps of her hand on your shoulder before she turns and starts walking into the woods before going into a jog and dropping down onto all fours, springing off into the trees. What's going through your mind as you start heading for the bikes after this conversation with both Larry and Stakes?
Can't help but think that this went different, better by default than the first time he did it, but how many more steps he made in a better direction than the first time he did it. And while he may think he's not good with people, at least the same thing didn't happen. And he hopes he can at least get Larry on board to learn the basics.
Acceptance of change is a very, very difficult thing, especially when it's a life-altering change. Accepting the knowledge that you are going to become Garou is a very rare gift. Very few Garou get. It's almost an impossibility that a Garou gets to know in advance what they're going to become. Luckily, Lucas got that gift, but almost none of the other pack members or Sept members were given that gift. And now Larry has that gift, whether he chooses to accept or reject it. Speaking of life-altering changes and whether or not they accept them, we transition now to our next scene. Jester, you've had quite a few life-altering changes of your own recently, as well as some new information come to light that you've had to come to terms with and are still trying to accept. One being the information that Juniper of the Hell Hounds is your half-sister by way of your father. And two, that Bateman and Mia are still together, are still in Tampa, and are staying at the hotel or at the apartments that are under the control of Vanessa and the Pentex organization that have provided the bushes that seem to be meant to fend off Garou. With all of this information, with all of these changes going through your mind, you decide to seek out Chloe, your best friend, since even shortly after the change, even before the change, to have some time to process, some time to unwind, some time to check in, since the Ghislaine has been by your side through all of this, and even after her life was upended because of all of this Garou business, she remained loyal. She's stood by you and has supported you. So as you head down to the floor below, yours and Charles's apartment, you go to the apartment that belongs to Chloe and once was the domicile of Eliza before she decided to stay at the cairn full time. Now we find you inside the apartment, sitting on the couch with Chloe, who sits in her pajamas, cross-legged, a glass of wine in her hand, some music playing on the stereo, although it's turned down just low to be ambient noise in the background. She takes a drink of the wine and looks to you. A sister, really?
I'm kind of like slouched on the couch where I'd come in and just kind of flopped and just like burst out with a bunch of stuff. Right now my head's resting on the back, just like, yep. Yeah, a sister.
Okay, so take me through all this. You went from being adopted, getting a dead end when looking into all of that, to now having a sister who is also Garou, happens to also be in the city, is also apparently a huge pain in the ass, something the two of you have in common. Like, walk me through all of this.
Well, I mean, apparently our dad worked or was a part of the mafia here. Already said he was a mafia prince. I have no idea what that means. Like, it's just weird. But he was still a kid, I suppose, when he turned state's evidence and moved to Michigan. But like before that, he was in a relationship with my birth mother, and he wanted out because of her, but it still ended up that they split and I got put up for adoption. And so he moved to Michigan, met Juniper's mom, and had a family there. And then she found her way down here.
I'd say that's a crazy coincidence, but now I'm starting to wonder if there's even such a thing as coincidence anymore.
Yeah, that's been wondering that a lot lately too.
How do you feel about all of it? I mean, that's a lot. She grabs the bottle of wine off the coffee table and pours more of it into your glass.
I'll sit up and take a long drink. I mean, so many things, honestly. I'm kind of happy that I still have family, I guess. I mean, but scared at the same time.
What's there to be scared about? I mean, she's Garou like you. That means she's durable, to say the least.
Yeah, but it's not really a safe life we live.
What's a safe life anymore, Jess? I mean, knowing that all this stuff is out there, being ignorant to all of it is the least safe to be. At least when you know, you can look out for it. You know what to fight. You know what to avoid. And having the gifts that you have, if there's anything I've learned, that gives you a leg up, an advantage, and you can at least do something about it. Don't get me wrong, I'm so happy to be here and be what I am, but most of the time I just get to sit here and worry about you.
Yeah. I know. It's just a lot of us die so young. That like despite the gifts we have, the things we fight are just so overwhelming. Sometimes it seems like we don't have a chance.
It goes back to what we said about Charles. Make the most of it then, while you have it. It's no different than being human. It could go away at any moment. Forever is promised to no one. the end comes for everybody. Death is a given. So whether
know.
it comes today or tomorrow or 60 years from now, it's going to happen. So make the most of now. Be grateful you at least have the opportunity to have it.
I know. And I am trying. We've met up a couple times just to hang out and learn about each other. And it's been pretty chill, pretty cool.
And are you learning more about her?
Little things, not like anything. I'm giving her room to adjust to it and everything, so it's more, surface things like hobbies and introducing her to music. She didn't really listen to a lot of music, so started introducing her to music. I have not dragged her to karaoke yet, so don't even start.
Well, are you opening up to her too?
Yeah, I told her a bit about growing up and dad. So, yeah, I am.
That's good. I know you're still really scared to open that part of yourself up again. I know it's easier with Charles and the others in the pack. I mean, I'm pretty sure it would take a nuclear bomb to kill Charles or take him away from you, but it's okay to take a chance. I know everything that happened with the group still stings. And yeah, I still think about them too. But we didn't know. We didn't know. And you didn't really know either. You were still figuring it out too. Nobody blames you, Jess. And even if we did know, we still would have done it. Yeah, we were mad at the time and we were hurt at the time, but it was only because it was overwhelming and scary and a lot. But we still would have done it because it was the right thing to do. And that's what we were all in it for. And I'd walk into hell for you, Jess. I just wish I'd known more because I like to know every detail before I go into anything. The A-type personality.
I know. I hated not coming for you so much. I hated having to wait and hide, but if he'd gotten to me, he would have gotten the rest of the pack.
Get it? I get it. It's over now. I'm safe. I'm fine. I've been living a really good life here.
It's not completely over. I saw Mia the other day. She's still with him.
Chloe takes a deep breath and sits back on the couch, cradling the glass in between her hands, getting kind of a far-off look. Oh. What was that like?
It wanted to tear him to pieces. Bring her back. She looks so pale. I don't know what he's doing to her.
Do you think she's one of them now?
I couldn't tell. I was too far away. I don't know if she's just one of them, if she's a thrall like Leon was, or if she's just if he's just keeping her close as a food source. I don't know. I already knew he was manipulating her mind with the announcement she made on television. Because that never happens. I don't know how far it goes though, and I worry that the longer he's with her, the less chance I have of being able to help her or get her help.
Wish you'd just let her go. One way or another. That's not what they do, is it?
No. He's found some sort of use beyond just using her against us.
Jess, she's not Mia anymore. You have to know that. Whatever she is, whatever's happening to her, she's not Mia anymore. Not after all this. They want you to think she is. Just like they did with Leon.
It's been longer. She's been with him longer than Leon was, so I think I know that. Hate it.
I want to believe that there's something of her still that can be saved, but I just don't know. I mean, this world is so different. I used to think that there was good in everyone. So you realize there are literally soulless monsters in the world. Literally.
Yeah. But since there are literal soulless monsters, there have to be people like us. You and me.
Well, speaking of that, I have some news.
Ooh. News. I like that. Is it good news?
Kind of. I met somebody.
You met somebody.
Yeah. So, you know how I've been redoing the gardens at the Memorial Gardens. I've been redoing the plants and bushes there.
Yeah. How's
Well,
that
I'm-
coming, by the way?
Slowly. I mean, after everything that was done, nothing's really. It's taken a lot to get anything to take root. Several attempts. The stuff that was trying to grow usually died off fairly quickly. But I reached out to a local organization that I found on the internet, kind of, grassroots group. Met a young lady by the name of Danielle.
Oh,
It's new, but we've gone out a couple of times and chatted a few times, and she's nice.
okay. That's not enough. You have to tell me everything. Start at the beginning.
Well, she was helping in the gardens, and she was, it's rough, obviously, out there, and I can't really explain why. Just have to say that the dirt's no good, and, maybe it's the pesticides and all the whatever, and can't really get into, all the spirits are dead, so, nothing's going to take root, and that doesn't really go over well with anybody who's not in the know, but she just kept coming back and kept trying, and we just got to talking, and she's really sweet, and we like some of the same music, and she's into a lot of activism, and it turns out she's been planting a lot of kind of like hidden gardens around the city, trying to do some green projects, just trying to spruce up the urban environment. It's kind of like her own form of activism. It's really cute. And I just went out with her to see some of her gardens at night. They do it kind of sneaky. They go on rooftops and that kind of thing.
Guerrilla gardening.
Kinda, yeah. And it was cute and fun. And she's, I don't know, she's different. She's special. It's a small group of them, but they use very organic methods. And so I just kept going with her on these outings, and she kept coming back during the days to the Memorial Gardens to work. And it's just nice to meet somebody who's so open and carefree. Kind of the opposite of everything that's been going on with all of this heavy, heavy business that we're dealing with. She's detached from it all.
Really happy for you.
Well, you shouldn't be the only one who's, happy and
Good.
getting some.
Absolutely.
She's really nice, and I think you'd like her.
Oh, hopefully I can meet her sometime.
Yeah. But I'm glad that we know about Mia, and I'm glad that you're doing well in spite of everything, because that's rough. What's the plan with all that?
Well, not sure yet. I need to bring it up with the rest of the pack, or that we'd made that discovery, because it seems like we found a place that he's living or going to ground in. I don't know. weird leech stuff. Anyways, but it looks like he's made that into a base or home, so at least we now have a place that we could maybe keep watch on, at the very least. I know a lot of our plans with him stalled because he did go to ground and we hadn't heard much from him, and all this stuff with the plants, like, kind of is taking up most of our time. It's exhausting.
Yeah, I bet.
So as far as I know, is the plan is like we tried to infiltrate and get more information. Like, it's part of the reason the journalism class is for me, so I can be a journalist and like try to get an in, and we find some weaknesses to be able to get to him without all his protections.
Well, don't spread yourself too thin. One thing at a time. It's easy to
Yeah.
get distracted, and maybe that's exactly what this is, a distraction, to get your eye off of what's really important. Just seems
Maybe.
too convenient that this happened at a time when there's this other stuff going on. So just be aware. The last thing you need is to lose focus when all this other stuff is happening and people are getting sick. And I know how empathetic you are and how much you care. Bateman's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it does show that he's working with these people doing the plant stuff, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, Aspen likes to use the buddy system, so I usually don't go off alone, so I'm not gonna like go off and go on a revenge rampage.
Yeah, but you're also really persuasive, Jess. And if you want to talk one of them into doing something stupid, if anyone's capable of it, you are.
Fair.
So just, you know,
Does it make you feel better to have Charles to balance me out?
kind of, but also, you know, Ryder
You-
was a bulldozer too, and look what happened with that.
I know.
Just be careful. One thing at a time. But keep your eye on the other. That's all.
We definitely need the plants focus on those as they're spreading. Speaking of which, if you and or Danielle are in a little plant group, I do have pictures of the ones you should watch out for
Okay.
if you want to see them. And we can totally like go over those. Just
Yeah. Yeah, if there's anything we can do, I know that Danielle's always looking to help with anything, so especially plant
moment-
stuff.
right at the moment, I just want them to avoid them, like, because they can cause infections or other dangers. So, like, just I want them to be safe. So,
Okay. Definitely. Glad you stopped by, Jess. I'm glad we're actually getting to spend some time together. I know you're super busy, but you need some time for you too, other than, you know, calisthenics or whatever you want to call your time up there.
something like that.
Cardio.
Cardio. Work on flexibility.
So, I've been watching this show on Netflix, and I think you'd really like it, so we should watch.
I'm down.
She grabs the remote and she grabs a blanket and she kind of scoots over on the couch to nestle next to you and throws the blanket over both of you and grabs the wine, pouring more into her glass and pouring more into your glass. I missed you.
I missed you too. I wish I had more time, but this is good. This is good. I'll cuddle next to her and like move my arm over so like it's wrapped above, resting on the like back of the couch and just wine in one hand, cuddling.
What's going through your mind as you spend a little quality time with Chloe?
I'm really happy to be here in this moment. Most of my days are pretty exhausting and filled with a lot of just work that needs to be done for one thing or the other. And just having those moments with my best friend of decades now is just really nice, and her words on things really help put me back into focus on things.
Acceptance takes many forms, even if it's accepting that you need to take some time for yourself, accepting a helping hand, accepting some words of encouragement, accepting relaxation. And with that, we go to break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story. See you shortly. And we're back. In the first half, Aspen made a call to Michigan to talk to the Sept leader from Hell, Red, to check in and see if there were any sources of cold iron to be found up in Michigan, as well as have a conversation about the new pack that has come to Tampa. Also, Lucas went to talk to Larry about what he is potentially becoming, as well as check in with Stakes and do the rite of kinseeking so that they could keep an eye on the young kin as he prepares to make his transition into Garou. However, Larry doesn't seem to be taking too well to the idea that he will one day become a werewolf. And then we saw Jester have a heart-to-heart with Chloe and check in about all of these new developments that have happened in her life, as well as the knowledge that Bateman seems to be working with the organization that is known as Pentex and this particular branch that is responsible for the plants, as well as Mia, who still lingers by his side. Now, in the second half, we start with Jace. Jace, you have been pretty much under lock and key at the cairn for some time, since this infection has been ravaging your insides and has been cutting you off from the spirits, as it has been taking many treatments to keep it from getting you under the hive mind-like control that seems to be part of this infection. But that hasn't kept you from exploring other fascinations, such as this staff that has come into your possession, as well as all the curiosities and unusual effects that comes along with the staff, and the new information that Moses, the one who gifted you the staff, seems to not remember who you are after your last interaction. So it's about time you break free. You go it alone for a little while and skip the coop. So, on this particular evening, you decide to leave the cairn, to get out into the city, and to be free for once, at least for an evening, to see what awaits you out there on your own. So first things first, are you taking the staff with you?
Yeah, the staff will be coming with. He'll have made like a makeshift, almost like like a rope attached to one end, so you can just have it sitting on his back.
Okay. So go ahead and make me a dexterity and stealth check as you are departing the RV from the cairn and sneaking your way off through the bawn and out of the cairn proper.
Rage 1.
Rage 1.
3.
3 successes. Okay, easy enough. So as you take your time slipping out of the RV, moving your way through the woods, you eventually make your way out of the bawn and out to the street where you grab your motorcycle. Now, knowing to not turn on the motorcycle right away, you walk it quite some distance away from the cairn proper until you hop on, start the engine, and drive off down the street. Where are you heading? Do you have a particular destination in mind?
Going to head to the heart of it, straight downtown.
Okay. So as you head into the city, it is midweek, so there's not a lot of activity, but Tampa is one of those cities of industry. I wouldn't call it a city that never sleeps, but it is definitely a city that has some constant movement. There are night shifts. There are some businesses that are open 24 hours, some restaurants, drive-thrus mostly that are open 24 hours. And there are places that are humming with activities. A lot of late night bars that are open till about 3 a.m. So as you head to the heart of downtown, while it is still quiet, there is still some movement out and about. So finding a place, you park your motorcycle and dismount from the bike and start walking the streets, just feeling the heartbeat of the city once more, enjoying that freedom, enjoying that ability to just be out once again. As you are walking along. Roll me a wits and awareness.
Four with a crit.
Eventually, after about 30 minutes of walking, you get the feeling that you're being watched. You decide to kind of shrug off that paranoia for a moment, but because it's a city and the city always has that feeling, but not to be too careless or reckless. You give a glance over your shoulder, and lo and behold, you're not wrong. There's an individual that seems to have fallen in step behind you, probably about 40 or 50 feet behind, walking at about the same pace you are. Now, knowing about the effects that this infection has had on you, you check in with yourself and you don't feel that pull or any of the effects that the mushrooms or the plants have had on you. The drugs seem to be still holding strong. And ever since you've been in possession of the staff, you haven't felt it once. In fact, one time you completely shrugged off the medication that you were given from Eliza, deciding to forgo it. And nothing happened as long as you had that staff. So, taking in what details you can over the shoulder, you see that this person is wearing a hood pulled up, kind of rather ratty jeans, patchwork jeans, sneakers, hands in pockets, a t-shirt, loosely worn under the unzipped hoodie. Features are kind of hard to tell as they're shadowed with the hood pulled over their head and the street lights are casting shades over their face.
Taking that in, gonna normally keep up the pace that he's at, and then when he can, if there's like any place that's open, whether it be a restaurant, a bar, he's gonna try and go into like somewhere more public.
Okay, so as you reach a bar that is open, you step inside. It's a small Irish tavern, although it's really just an Irish themed tavern. You've been to one of these aplenty. It's O'Malley's. It's not anything too true blue Irish, but it's definitely got that Irish flair. Got a shamrock on the sign, and it's got all of the halogen signs advertising various alcohols. It's got a Guinness sign on the wall, and it's got, artwork all over the walls. It's not too busy, but there are definitely a few patrons seated at the bar and in some of the booths. Some of the college students are getting ready for the semester to end in college and for summer to start. There's a bartender working behind the bar and a waitress that's moving amongst the booths. Where do you go?
Go up to the bar where the majority of the people are at.
As you find a seat at the bar, lo and behold, the individual steps in behind you. They pull off their hood, and you see a young man, maybe in his late teens, probably about 19 years old, with very, very little stubble growing on his chin, like the early showings of a goatee, rat's nest of hair atop his head, with the sides completely shaved all the way around, that it just looks like a kind of little nasty knot of hair on the top of his head, possibly what was once a mohawk that started to overgrow a little bit too much. He's got bags under his eyes as if he hasn't slept in a couple of days. Definitely probably hasn't showered either, as you can see that he's a little bit dirty. Possibly some soot or smears on the side of his face from wiping off on his cheeks. But he, without hesitation, comes and sits on the stool at the bar next to you.
Pretty ripe there, buddy.
Everything's in place, just like you asked.
What?
Everything's in place, just like you asked.
Good. Okay. Wave to the bartender. 2 just regular house taps, please.
He looks to you now kind of warily. Are you all right?
I'm good. Are you okay?
Yes. Then he kind of gets a realization dawn on him. Sorry, never mind. And he goes to hop off the stool and starts to make his way towards the door.
Damn it. He'll take out a couple bills and slap them down. Sorry. That should cover. Keep the change. Follow the guy.
As you head out the front door, you can see that he's already out on the sidewalk, moving rather quickly down the street.
Fine. Yep. Bad idea. Yeah, fine. He'll start walking after him. Try and pick up the pace, not trying to make too much of a scene, but walking quickly.
Okay, give me a... Let's go. You're trying to catch up, I assume?
Yeah. Yep.
Give me a dexterity and athletics.
1.
Okay. He is outpacing you pretty well. And at a certain juncture, he turns down an alleyway and disappears into the alleyway.
Anyone else around, or is it pretty empty?
Are you going down the alleyway after him?
More looking down the alleyway and then back to the street, seeing if anyone else is pursuing or anything like that.
Give me a wits and investigation, since you're looking for something specific.
3.
You don't see anybody pursuing. Nobody else seems to have fallen in step with you or is on your heels. And as you look down the alleyway, you don't see signs of anybody else at the moment. In fact, you don't even see signs of him at the moment.
Right. At that point, going to reluctantly step into the alleyway and start making their way through. Like, hey, it was just really crowded where we were talking. We can talk here if you're still around.
You step into the alleyway. How far in do you go?
Only a few steps.
There's no response.
Take a few more. Yep. I'm glad everything's in place. I just need to hear more about it. Take a few more.
You're not the one. You hear an echoing response.
And how do you know that?
Because the one would know.
So would that make you the one, since you know that I'm not the one?
No. I am not the one. He who carries the staff is the one. But you are
Will I
carrying
be-
the staff, yet you are not the one. Not now.
Well, I am the one who is carrying the staff now, so maybe I should be the one to know. Why don't you come out and talk to me face to face instead of me just talking to the walls here?
He told us we might encounter one who bears the same face, but does not speak with his voice.
Does he have a name?
Yes, but I am not privileged enough to speak it. It is a name
You
we
just-
all share. At this point, you hear another voice from the other side of the alley. Ah, Sarah! It's good to see you again.
Hi. I didn't know you could be here.
You look, and up atop one of the buildings, you see another young individual. This one, however, seems to only be about 13 years old. A young boy with long blonde hair that comes down to their shoulders, pimple-faced. They're wearing baggy jeans and a t-shirt that is way too big. I can only be here when I'm awake, Sarah.
So, if you are, you'll look around real quick. It'll whisper, but loud enough you can still hear on top. If you are Ravi, you were asleep last time?
One must be asleep to be dreaming.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Now that's logical. Okay.
I see he has decided to gift you. It is a mighty gift.
Yeah, a gift I don't understand.
Come, let us speak. You see him disappear on the rooftop, and then a few minutes later, appear at the far end of the alleyway. Much has developed since last we spoke, Sarah.
Good development?
That is all a matter of perspective.
As is everything. Okay. Well, let's hear it. And it's good to see you, though you look drastically different than how I remember you.
This is my current body.
Current? Like, you change? Like, you have a bunch of different ones?
No, this is just the
Okay.
one I am in the present. And in my next
Okay.
incarnation, I will look quite different.
Okay.
All will make sense in time. Come with. And he turns and starts going down the T intersection at the end of the alleyway in a different direction. As you follow, he goes to what appears to be a parking lot at the end of the T intersection where there is a van waiting. As he reaches the van, you see by the driver's side door is the young man that you'd encountered in the bar who's waiting by the open driver's side door. Ravi walks up and pulls open the slide door to the windowless van and says, "Please, Sarah."
I have a vehicle. You okay if I follow?
I would ask you to extend a little trust, Sarah. I have not led you wrong this far.
It's the overall presence of the van and, sorry, the look of a child telling me to get into a dark van. It's a little offsetting.
Wouldn't it be more offsetting if it were the opposite way around, Sarah?
Yep. Oh, they're gonna kill me. Gonna grab onto the rope, trying to situate the staff a little bit tighter and climb in.
As you climb into the back, Ravi hops in with you and closes the door. The other young man climbs in the driver's side and turns on the engine. And the van pulls out of the parking lot and onto the street. As it's driving along, Ravi sits cross-legged on the ground, kind of looking up at you as he's this young boy and stares into your eyes. You must have questions. I am here to answer what I can while we take our journey.
Okay. Some clarification on you're here when you're awake, but when you're sleeping, you're back in the place where I first met you. Am I understanding that correctly?
That is correct.
Okay. You, when awake, are a teenager, young person.
Yes, my soul inhabits this body in this incarnation. In previous incarnations, I have taken previous forms, previous bodies. But then when that body had finished, had aged and passed on, I was born into a new body.
Okay, when you say incarnate, like I know in some history, like the name travels on and that's what they say, like incarnations, or are you saying like you have been in several other bodies?
I believe in a way that you would comprehend it is much like reincarnation.
Okay.
I'm
I'm trying to be as open as I can about it. It's hard to
my
wrap around
essence,
this.
my spirit is born again and again and again. I have lived many lifetimes in many bodies.
Okay. Your spirit itself. All right, that makes a little bit more sense. Okay.
And yet I am still Ravi in every body.
Okay.
Well, once I remember.
So you don't remember when the reincarnation happens.
Correct.
So did someone come and tell you, like, hey, you've been around for 9 of these?
In a way, but it just sort of happens.
That sounds a bit jaunting, but
Well, much
I
like
get,
when you change, Bate.
I was gonna say that I kind of get it, just kind of springing on you, like this is you now. Okay. So are you still Ravi as this, or are you going by a different name?
Well, this form was formerly known as Eric.
Okay. In this form, would you prefer me to call you Ravi or Eric?
You know me as Ravi. You may continue to call me Ravi.
That'll make it easier on me. Okay. All right. Well, that created more questions, but answered the ones that were present anyways. The staff, and you'll kind of grab it and bring it out. Moses gave me the staff, the same guy who gave me the candle that brought me to you. he doesn't remember me now. Nothing.
Moses was the conduit.
Okay.
He carried the staff before, like you carry the staff now.
Okay, so you carry the staff and you take on what happens, or was there like a kind of what's happening with you, an incarnation that happened or reincarnation that happened?
Well, you are not stuck with the staff.
Right.
It's not like it is bound to you. You may pass it on should you choose, but he chose and trusted you with the staff, and therefore he believes that you will keep it safe when he chooses not to visit.
Do you know why I need to keep it safe? Is there someone after it?
Well, partially to keep you safe, but also so that he can visit. For when he visits, there are those that would look for him. Father does
How-
not wish to be found.
Is there a way I can reach him if I need to talk to him?
That is a little more complicated. He is with you, but he is a little harder to speak to. I suppose if you were to leave a message, it could be given to him when he decides to visit, but you would be otherwise disposed of when he was visiting.
Okay. Yeah, I can try leaving a message. Do I just talk to the staff? Is that how I do that?
Or me. I speak
you.
to him when he is here.
Oh, I'll make it. Okay. If you can let him know, I just need to talk to him. I have a bunch of questions as always, and I wanted to make sure that he is okay.
He's fine.
Okay.
Why don't you ask me the questions? I have learned at his feet my entire existence. He is my father, after all.
All right. He'll point to the other guy. That guy said everything's in place. What does that mean?
That you will see with your own eyes when we arrive.
All right. Well,
It is work you have been doing, after all. Well, he has been doing through you.
you mean through me as in like me?
With your body. While you sleep, you have little use of it, so he has used it.
Little use. Okay.
In exchange for the protection he has granted you, he is using your body.
Won't lie, that's a little invasive.
Would you prefer not to have the protection?
No, the protection's nice. I won't lie that there has been less instances with that happening. Just odd to hear my body's being used for things that I wasn't aware of.
It allows him to move about and not be recognized easier.
How often is this happening?
When you sleep,
So, a lot. Okay, a lot. We're gonna bypass that overall. He'll roll the staff to the symbol that he knows to be the warding, this symbol I know. I'm trying to move past that. I know keeps things out.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on what it's keeping like at bay?
Yes. That actually has to do with the work we are doing here. A presence has arrived, a presence that is very dangerous to our people. A presence that is, well, hunting our people here. In fact, a presence that, should it find us, can destroy us and keep us from the cycle. That can end our ability to reincarnate, and seeks to. It wishes to corrupt us, but instead, if we choose not to turn to its ways, would destroy us. And unlike your kind, we do not procreate. There are not more of us made. We are limited in number. That is why we are reborn time and time and time again. So to be destroyed is a terrible thing.
Yeah, that's it. Like it's done.
That is all.
Okay. So there's something here that's hunting you, and you're trying to stop it. Okay.
We are trying to hide from it and run from it and protect our people from it.
How many of your people are here?
You shall see, Sarah.
Okay. Well, let Moses know. Thank you for the warding. You'll turn it to where the key's at. This one, from the little bit that I was able to pick up, it unlocks or is able to open almost like a doorway.
Yes.
If I'm understanding. Okay. To what?
You.
Okay. So that's
Gives him
allowing
access to you.
for the work that needs to be done.
Yes.
Okay. He'll turn it again. This I know it's about a folklore or something like that.
Valor.
Yeah. I did a little bit of digging. There's some stuff about it. Is what happened? Because from what it looks like, I was looking over this with a couple of my friends, and the staff trying to follow it almost looks like it has a path, a way that it is telling something. It just I can't I can't see the story that goes with this, but it looks like something happened here with Balor.
Yes.
Am I privy to that story on your perspective?
Well, the staff is the story to come. It is the story we are writing now. We are trying to save our people from Balor, and he shows the individuals running from the eye. The great evil that has visited this land is Balor.
Okay.
You have seen it, Sarah. Well, a representation of it.
In which fashion?
We believe it has begun to manifest and corrupt. We believe It may even be within you, which is why he wished to protect you. When you came to the dreaming, when we first met, he believed you had been touched by Balor. But you were not lost. Pate do not often visit the dreaming Syrah, not since it was believed that they were banished from the dreaming. But yet, there you were. And as it was, you had a purpose within the dreaming, and you walked the silver path. My master, the keeper of the path, saw fit to grant you access and grant you his blessing and protection. But in exchange, as you well know, nothing comes free.
Right.
He would have your help in doing his bidding, in protecting his people, in helping them escape Balor.
Okay. So an exchange, just not really brought to my personal attention until now.
Time was of the essence, Syrah, and making it understandable to you was more of a task than it was worth.
Future, using people's bodies as you want, not a great look. But in this context, I'm okay with it knowing it now, kinda. I'm still curious on what I was doing, or not, my body was doing. Okay, so Balor, the corruption that's happening. You're running from it, you're hiding. Do you know of a way to fight it, to push them back?
Yes. They are, well, they are like us. You have already begun to research our kind to a certain degree, with one small exemption. They are not affected by the iron in the same way. Now it seems that the plants that you are fighting are, which is a benefit that will help you. However, the one who has manifested, the one who must be bringing them, will not be so easily fought. But they can be beaten back. And at worst, their time in this incarnation can be ended. If not able to be completely destroyed. An ending in this incarnation can be done through most means. These bodies are frail and physical and human in most means.
Okay. Well, we can bring Tooth and Claw, or are you thinking of something more?
It would help. You are physically strong. They have abilities, of course, as you have seen in what they can manifest.
Yeah. The cold iron, you're saying with plants, should take care of it. The people that it's affecting, okay.
The ones that you can save, it should help, but you won't be able to save them all, most likely. Depends on how long it's been.
The corruption, how long it's been there to take him over? Okay.
He has somehow infused banality into this world.
Yeah. How? Like, I have a rough idea. I can touch things and I can kind of see how it got to a certain spot. But I don't understand wholly on how they're being pushed together.
When what you call a bane infects a person, it becomes what you call a Fomori, yes?
Right. Once the Bane has corrupted it enough, yes.
Valor is the representation of the Fomorians. If anyone could bring banality to the world, it is Balor.
So the origin of them is able to manipulate it further.
It makes sense, does it not, Sarah?
Unfortunately, yeah. I love learning new things, but the things I keep learning here aren't always the fun things.
Rarely are they ever, Sarah.
Yeah.
As for what you've been doing, the van eventually comes to a stop and he pulls open the side door. And as he does, you find that you are in the middle of a field, way, way, way out in the outskirts of Tampa. Out there in the dark, you see some lights. Looks like work lamps that have been set up out in the middle of the field. He hops out of the van and starts walking, gesturing for you to follow. And as you follow behind, you end up coming to what looks like a dugout pit in the middle of a field. And as he gestures, he points down. You see what looks like a dugout bomb shelter in the ground. Something that looks like was probably built during the Cold War, most likely. Maybe had a farmhouse at one time built on top of it, although the farmhouse is long gone. You found this, and were helping us dig it out. This is where we have been bringing our people. Well, he found this. But he couldn't use the body of the elder Moses. He needed something younger and more spry, physically capable.
Yeah, so why not me? Okay.
He walks down into the pit and goes to open the door. And as he does, you hear the sudden, loading of guns. And he goes, "Peace, friends." And you hear the guns being lowered. And as he opens the door, inside you see probably about 8 other individuals of varying size, age, and shape. Some as young as 16 or so, others as old as 80. They're all like me. Some of them gasp, some even kneel upon seeing you. But then he says, he is dreaming. And they go, oh, and they kind of shrug off and stand back up and kind of go back about their business.
So 10 of you guys all together.
At the
11,
moment,
if also counting me, I guess.
we are not aware which of our brothers and sisters may still have not awoken yet.
I want to help you guys as much as I can. I have to tell my people about what's going on because they'll want to help as well because we're fighting the same thing. Now, where you guys are staying at, I can let them know also, but only if you want me to.
Ravi looks over to some of the other individuals in the bomb shelter and starts talking in a different language to them. And from the way he speaks, it sounds like maybe something Middle Eastern, like Hindi. And it's fluent, which is strange seeing it come out of a 13-year-old blonde middle America boy. Then he turns back to you. For now, Sarah, we would prefer the shelter stay a secret and as few know as possible, but in time, perhaps, until we feel fortified and secure. This is still very new. As you know, you have not possessed the staff for long, and we just recently finished digging out this place and starting to stay here. And we are still looking for our fellows. If one of them were to learn what you know, one of the followers of Balor were to find out, we would all surely be killed.
Okay. I will keep this a secret until you tell me otherwise, or Moses leaves me a note. I don't know. But I will say the sooner that the others are aware of where you're at, if something were to happen, the sooner we could come and help. But I understand where you're coming from. Caution is advised, especially if there are more out there. But you can trust us. Like we will help you.
We appreciate it. Once upon a time, we and the changing ones worked in harmony. And then, after the sundering, we fell out of favor with one another. But perhaps the Bate and us can find even footing once again.
What's being built here is vastly different than how things used to be. From your previous incarnation, or even some of your oldest ones, this place is going to be different. And it's run by someone who is more understanding and willing to help those who are hurting, and will give chances for those in order to pull themselves out of the gesture, the hole.
good to know. You must understand our caution. When you have lived many, many lives, knowing that it could all end in an instant, it is a frightening thought, especially in these times when it is quite literally on your doorstep.
Is there the spirit that you showed me? Would they be any aid to what's going on?
Very unlikely, not in this time.
Okay.
However, my master told me last he was, and he gestures to you, should you help us in this matter, even if the infection is cured, that key has multiple purposes.
Okay.
If you rid us of the threat of valor, that key will let you revisit the dreaming.
I don't speak for all of them, but you do have my help. And he'll stretch out his hand to Ravi.
He reaches out and gives you a shake, his little 13-year-old hand, squeezing as hard as he can, but not accomplishing much at all.
It's a lot to take in. I'd love to get to know all of you. As me, not you guys knowing me as father, master. I don't know which one you all call him.
Father.
Father.
Some call him master. Others know him as Ishu.
Ishu.
Yes.
Okay. Well, he'll look to the rest of them. As I am right now, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
I'm going to be in so much trouble. I just hope you know that this was supposed to be just a nice little stroll outside. I was going to go get a couple drinks and then just kind of listen and get little secrets on people.
Well, normally you are not awake this late or unaccompanied, so we thought we were dealing with father and more work was to be done, and then it got complicated, but at least you know now.
Yeah, I would have been receptive to it. A note would have been, I would have had questions, but a note would have been fine. Like, hey, I'm using your body. Hope that's
you
fine.
Understand our discretion.
I do. I do.
We have a great deal at stake.
Okay. The staff itself, I have to have it with me at all times in order to have it working. Is that correct?
For its protection, yes.
Okay.
It is not like it is bound to you. Whoever possesses the staff possesses its protection and is a conduit of Ishu.
Okay.
Your friend, the elder one, he was the originator who carved it.
Oh. He did great. This is very well done. That the Moses, the older guy, he okay? Like, should he be?
Well, when he tried to use his magic, he did not know what he was doing, and unfortunately had some effects on him that were irreversible, which is why my master saw fit to at least give him a peaceful life for a while. He will be fine. of course, but he doesn't remember much.
No, he didn't remember me at all, which that first threw me for a loop. But he should be okay. Is there anything you need right now? Like, I'm here. Like, is there anything you need?
Well, we do not have a great deal in the way of resources, so if you ever have food or anything to spare, it is greatly appreciated. This old bomb shelter did have some canned goods and the like, which have held us over, but the more we find, the less those resources hold out.
Okay. He'll pull out his wallet and give whatever cash he has left and hand it to Robbie. Use this to buy what you need. I'll see what I can do about getting some food and something out here for you guys. I can't get that done, obviously, quickly. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I will
We
see what I can
understand,
do.
Sarah. We are surviving, and we will be fine.
I'll make sure you guys make it.
We are grateful. And thank you for keeping our secret. We know this makes things more complicated than they already are, but
One of the things about you'll learn about me is I really enjoy secrets, so unload them.
well, as they say, this is a doozy.
Yes, yes, it is. But I will keep this end of the secret. I'll let them know what you're up against and what we're up against.
Very
Now,
good.
I should get back.
Yes. My friend will give you a ride back to your motorcycle.
Well, he'll wave to everyone. It's nice meeting you all, seeing you all again, I guess. You guys take care. He'll turn around and make his way back up.
As you get back into the van and begin the drive back to downtown Tampa, what's going through your mind with all this new information, with all these answers that you kind of had questions to this entire time?
The things about Balor and that they can be beat, but the fact that the cold iron will not work against them. He's trying to figure out, like, he said that tooth and claw will work. It'll help with it, but is there something else that they're missing? Something they don't even know that might aid in taking out Balor faster? The agreement that was struck that if they help with taking care of Balor, the key on the staff will allow him to go back to the dreaming to aid the spirit that is trapped. And now, but the other thing kind of moving to the forefront is he has to bring this up to Aspen, and he was told to not leave, and he needed to be with the buddy system. And now he has to fess up that he broke the rule, but he was bringing good knowledge about. So he's trying to see if he can make this into a lighter overall situation, but having a hard time trying to figure out how he's going to make Aspen believe that this is a good thing.
That will be a very, very interesting conversation, but it's a conversation that will have to wait until next week, for this is the end of our story, but not without one last scene. Aspen, you are sitting at your desk in the law firm of Pelfrey and Weiss, attorneys at law, when the phone rings.
I will answer it.
Miss Weiss, good evening.
Good evening.
It is the voice of Edward Bateman. I think we should meet. We have some very, very important business to discuss.
I would say so. When?
One week. Neutral territory of your choosing. I'll play fair if you do.
Let's hope that's true.
Let's hope indeed. That's where our story comes to a close. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you so much to everybody watching at home. Go follow St. Pete by Night on all of the social media listed down below, and come join our community by following that Discord link. You can take part in amazing activities, and you can have amazing discussions with our amazing community members for these amazing players. I'm Kent. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Have a lovely evening, everyone, and go tune into Hell Hounds on Friday on YouTube, and come back for another episode of Rage Across Tampa on Tuesday. Have a good night, everyone.